Hello there, I'm Tom Wiggins.
And I'm Emily Elias, and this is Desert Island Dips, the podcast where we pit condiment against condiment and ask, if you were trapped on a desert island, which 5 dips would you want to take with you?
I feel like we should have some sort of dramatic thing at the end of that, but it's too late now.
See what I can do.
As it stands, we have ketchup, brown sauce, English mustard, barbecue sauce, and slightly controversially, guacamole on the island.
I'm fearful for guacamole staying on the island.
I think that's been sort of on the horizon ever since we did that one. However, this week, the curious tale of burger sauce. What is burger sauce?
Burger sauce.
How familiar with burger sauce are you?
I feel like I'm not that familiar with burger sauce. I'm not sure, if I know what burger sauce is.
But if somebody said to you, point it out in a condiment lineup, you'd be able to pick it out though, right?
Yeah, but I'm not confident. You're not
condiment confident.
I don't feel like I have the right sort of terminology in the back of my head for what is burger sauce.
Well, you are in the right place.
What?
It's a relatively new condiment to me as well. So I think I probably had it for the first time at university, which, it's all about experimentation, being a student, isn't it? So exposing myself to new things, new flavours.
While all the other lads were experimenting with other things at university, you were getting deep into the condiments.
I was down the kebab van, trying out new condiments. So burger sauce, for anyone that's not familiar with it, it's sort of a, what would you say, pinkish yellow colour?
Yeah, almost kind of like a...
pinkish orange, probably.
Yeah,
If you look up the ingredients of burger sauce, you'll get lots of different things, but they all agree on pretty much one thing, which is you have to mix together ketchup and mayonnaise in, I think, almost at universally equal amounts.
Okay.
However, the more you kind of look into it, you'll see that that's where you start, and then there are lots of very different versions of burger sauce that have lots of different other ingredients in them that give you lots of different variations. So sort of let's go with a sort of like a whiskey. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, whiskey is essentially all the same thing, but there's subtle variations in it based on how you make it, what kind of barrels you use. Well, it's what kind of barrels you use and things like that, basically. So,
but this feels a little less. I don't mean to talk down burger sauce in front of you, but
But you're about to.
Less cachet than what kind of barrels you're putting it in.
Well, maybe in your world, but not in my world, no.
I'm sorry.
I should say that my favourite burger sauce is the cheap sort of no brand one that you get in kebab shops. So
I didn't even know you could buy burger sauce until I came to this country.
Yeah.
I feel like if I have had burger sauce, it would have been somebody just mixing
what they'd make it for you.
Yeah, it would be something
DIY.
Something special to that chain of restaurants.
You look at all the recipes, and they all add extra things on top of. They start with the ketchup and the mayonnaise, and they add things. Some of them add vinegar, some of them add mustard, some of them have got garlic, some of them chuck in a bit of hot sauce, some of them use salad cream rather than mayonnaise. So that's one of the few that doesn't fit the same original sort of core ingredients. Some add whiskey. So in actual fact, that whiskey analogy is probably more accurate than you have given credit for.
How did we get to this point where people started mixing all these other condiments together to make one super condiment?
Well, it probably starts with I'll tell you the story about the what I think is probably the originator of burger sauce, which started with a different name. So the one that I think sounds closest to what I would consider burger sauce, the kebab van stuff, originates from a barbecue place in Salt Lake City in 1940, but then it was called fry sauce, and it was meant for chips.
That is unexpected. I did not think this would come from the home of Mormonism.
It was invented by a Mormon. I wasn't going to say it until later, but it was invented by a Mormon. A guy called Don Carlos Edwards, who you might call the godfather of burger sauce.
Too much. Don Carlos Edwards.
Who's a Mormon from Salt Lake City.
Okay.
From Utah, anyway. And he just called it pink sauce, basically. He mixed ketchup and mayonnaise together, chucked in a few sort of spices and things, and invented what he originally called pink sauce. And he started by putting it on burgers. But then one day, a few years later, he was he started on a cart, basically, but then moved into a burger restaurant, which he called Don Carlos Barbecue. And he was like, well, I'm going to try some of this with a chip. And he ate it, and he was like, oh, yeah, that's really nice, actually.
Don't you think you would have like kind of started that way first, of testing it out with a chip and then moving on to the
Maybe
burger?
he just used his finger to begin with.
I suppose, but what are French fries if not delicious deep fried fingers?
Yeah, the culinary
Potato
finger.
fingers.
Yeah. Or is the finger nature's chip?
Oh, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
So
deep questions this week.
I mean, I like that his sort of his idea behind fry sauce, pink sauce, whatever we're calling it to begin with, was so fickle that he was like, I've made this for my burgers. Oh, it's nice with chips. Now it's called fry sauce. Next week he tried it with something else and was like, new name for this sauce. It's nice with, bread or something. Bread sauce.
It's truly a visionary of
Sausage.
our time.
So anyway.
So how do we get from fries back to burgers then?
Fry sauce. Fry sauce still exists. It stayed as fry sauce basically, but people would put it on everything. So while it's called fry sauce, it was used on burgers and originally was used on burgers. About 10 years later, just over 10 years, 1952, Don Carlos opens a chain, the first of a chain of restaurants called the Arctic Circle, a drive-in restaurant.
Never heard of it.
In Salt Lake City. Now, that becomes quite successful. At its most popular, there were 250 restaurants in that chain in 16 different states.
That's pretty big.
In the US, which is, is decent. It's gone down now. It's about 70, but at its height, doing pretty well. So this clearly helps the idea of pink sauce or fry sauce, whatever we're calling it at this time, to spread across the United States. As we've mentioned, there are different recipes online. I think that's probably how this has happened. People get an idea of it and they're like, oh, I like that fry sauce that you get in thingy. Oh, it's just ketchup and mayo mixed together and you just put a little bit of extra. Oh, I can make that, So what happens though is if you look up, as we've said, Don Carlos is a Mormon. So I was looking into him.
Yeah.
And there's a website called mormonwiki.com.
Of course there is.
I didn't explore it too much, but I would imagine if there's a Mormon that you want to know about, go to mormonwiki.com and the info will be there.
Well, the Mormons are known for keeping excellent records. Seriously.
Mormonwiki.com would suggest that that's true. On mormonwiki.com, on the page for Don Carlos, it says that his version of fry sauce was made of ketchup, mayonnaise, garlic, dill pickle juice, and, in inverted commas, a closely guarded list of other ingredients, which is kind of common in the condiment world, right? You don't want to give away all of your secrets of how you make it, because otherwise you've got nothing.
You've lost your entire base.
Exactly. So I was looking into this. I thought, well, is this accurate? Can I find out what the other ingredients are? But a couple of years ago... Wait,
are you about to tell me that you became a Mormon in researching this condiment?
No. I have been a best man at a Mormon wedding, though.
How was that?
There's no booze allowed, so it's different to most other weddings that I've been to.
Was it like a day wedding or a night wedding?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, they got married, and then we went and had a dinner, lunch thing, did some speeches, I did my speech, and then we kind of went home. Well, I went to the pub.
Were you allowed to roast him in the speech as you would at a boozy secular wedding?
I didn't, mainly because the only people I knew in the room were the groom's parents, his sister, and my fellow joint best man.
Yes, that's a tough crowd.
I was like, I can't be nasty about him. So,
I mean, you don't want to be nasty about him, but...
I don't want to make an enemy of the Mormons. So,
yeah, because they talk.
Yes, they do.
They share their records and they talk.
Okay, are they really good at keeping records?
Yeah, genuinely.
Is that a Mormon thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really, I guess, big into genealogy, and they're really good at
condiment genealogy.
Well, any form of genealogy, but I'm sure condiment genealogy is just up there.
It should extend into all areas. Yeah.
And so I feel like I should quantify this in that it's like my nana who reads the Daily Mail told me that they're really good at keeping records.
Well, maybe not entirely accurate or reliable information. Anyway.
I've just gotten in trouble with an entire faith.
A couple of years ago, the current or then current COO, Chief Operating Officer, I believe, of Arctic Circle Restaurants, they're still going, as I said, went on record and said they've never used pickle juice in fry sauce. So, I mean, I don't want to say that the Mormons have kept an incorrect record here, but because you would suggest that that is not possible. But someone has got crossed wires here in what goes into fry sauce, the original fry sauce. Let's park that, as you do sometimes. Okay, the fry sauce, that we'll suspend that story in the mid-50s.
Yeah.
And we will have to, at this point, consider an alternative timeline. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Okay. In the 1920s, in Argentina, there's a guy...
Oh, that's unexpected.
I know. It feels like this is a sort of globe-trotting spy story now.
But it's just like, who came up with the idea of mixing ketchup and mayonnaise together first?
What a genius idea it was.
Argentina!
There's a guy in Argentina called Luis Federico Leloir. I think I'm saying that correct. I put a bit of a French accent on it. It's probably more likely to be
a Spanish accent?
Well, Spanish or Italian, yeah. But he's a biochemist. In 1970, he won a Nobel Prize. Right? So this is 50 years before this. But if he has, let's be honest, whatever happens, he's invented something here. So this is...
You can't take it away from him. He's invented something.
This is a condiment invented by a Nobel Prize winner.
Amazing.
Later on. Anyway, he's at a golf club near Buenos Aires, having some lunch, having some prawns with his mates.
Okay.
As you know, people like to do. Certainly biochemists in the 20s.
I'm allergic to prawns, so...
Well, yeah, and I don't like prawns either, but one likes to do.
Sure.
So the story goes that he didn't want normally, prawn mayo, that's a thing, right? He didn't want mayonnaise with his prawns, which, as we have already decided and established in episode 2, mayo is just a lubricant, so fair enough.
I'm already a fan of him.
Luis, you've made the correct choice in this situation. It's just a lubricant. Get something better to have with your prawns. So he asked the waiter. He's obviously quite sort of well thought of at this restaurant in this golf club, because he says to the waiter, just like go to the kitchen and bring me out a load of the sauces and seasonings and stuff that you've got in there. I want to make one of my own. I want to make my own sauce.
Could you imagine the look on a waiter's face if you said to them,
club as
well.
Yeah,
just be like, bring me the sauces in the cabinets. See? I must fashion a better sauce. But also speaks to his hatred of mayo. See, mayonnaise, you are a garbage sauce.
So we're on his side with this, basically, yeah.
I like his audacity.
And his dislike for mayo.
2 things, and his Nobel Peace Prize.
Which he hasn't got yet, but will do in 50 years' time. So he sits there at the table and kind of experiments with all of these ingredients that are brought out for him, and eventually settles on a sauce that's made up of equal parts ketchup and mayonnaise, which we've heard about before today.
Sounds familiar,
correct?
But groundbreaking at the time.
But as I've said, it's about adding the extra ingredients that make the difference here. And according to this, what this guy, what was his name, Luis? He added, the 2 extra things he added were cognac and Tabasco.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah.
So he had to get the bar manager in on this affair as well to get the cognac to the table.
I suppose so, yeah. Unless he had a little hip flask or something with him.
Oh, well, he was having
golfing in the summer.
I was having my prawns and cognac on the veranda.
No, he's not necessarily drinking it at the time.
Well, but what if he was he was drinking the cognac and he was like, this needs something, and he just pulled his glass, just tipped a little bit in,
ketchup and mayo in it.
Perfect.
That's a reverse engineered way of doing it. Anyway, so yeah, cognac and Tabasco added to the ketchup and mayo. Now, I've seen a few other suggestions that have had Tabasco or other spicy sauces added, but never cognac. But when you add the Tabasco or spicy sauce and a few other things normally, what most people would call that is Thousand Island.
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to say, like, did this have an alternative name? Because I don't think this guy's going to be like,
yeah.
I made burger sauce for my prawns.
No, it did have one, but it's not Thousand Island sauce. That's not what he called it. And it's not burger sauce, you're right. It's not fry sauce. It's not pink sauce. It was called salsa golf. Because it was at the golf club. But for me, this is an alternate timeline.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
This is like, I think this has, I mean, obviously it started earlier, but I think this has developed separately to burger sauce and probably has become Thousand Island. I think people still refer to salsa golf and lots of other variations of it around South America. But for me, it feels like that has gone that way, and America has stuck with burger sauce.
It's putting it on your burgers.
And has gone with that one. So this starts doing quite well. The salsa golf, this is. Brands start mass producing it, but not until the 60s. Hellmann's turn up in Argentina apparently in the 70s. They latch onto it. Boom, away we go.
They globalize it.
And then I think they then called it Thousand Island, and away it goes. But again, we're getting off topic here. Because what I think happened, as I say, is that timeline carries on in South America, and the fry sauce, burger sauce timeline continues in North America, because Don Carlos invents that, and it comes to us now as the burger sauce we eat via McDonald's.
Yes.
I'll explain to you how I think that. Don Carlos has his restaurant chain in the 50s.
Okay.
Big Mac's introduced in 1967. Because of, I think, anyway, this is a hypothesis, the popularity of fry sauce spreading to those restaurants from the 50s onwards. McDonald's is set up. They invent the Big Mac. They go, we need a special sauce to get in. They go, that fry sauce is quite nice, isn't it? Let's do our version of that, because obviously everyone is doing their own versions. They introduced that. They introduced the Big Mac with the special sauce. And I mean, they're similar, but they're not the same, are they? Big Mac sauce is a different colour. It's not as pink. It's not as orange. It's more sort of a yellowy, browny colour.
It's almost like my skin colour.
It's a good job I don't like it in the first place, because I mean that would have put me off probably. Not that you've got unpleasant skin, but like I don't want to eat skin colour sauce.
It is skin colour sauce though, isn't it?
Maybe they should rebrand it. So I think then the obviously the massive success of the Big Mac and McDonald's as a whole means that people are going, well, we need to latch on to people like Big Mac sauce. Let's make something that's similar to that. They go, well, we've got burger sauce. That's pretty similar. They start adding in their own ingredients to it again, and that's how you get this sort of
burger sauce creep. Yeah,
and the slight different variations of it in the recipes around the world. You know, the different ones you might buy. Hellmann's did actually introduce a version of burger sauce in the late 70s called Big H, which I don't believe is available. It might have only been in North America as well.
I can't remember it.
So we've got, I think what happened was, you've got a big explosion of Big Macs. Everyone likes Big Mac sauce. All of the other companies are like, we need to get our own version of this. But they can't obviously use the real thing, and McDonald's won't tell them what it is. So burger sauce is the sort of independent reaction. The contemporary version of burger sauce is an independent reaction to the popularity of the Big Mac. That's my take on history of burger sauce.
I agree with you. I think that like Big Mac sauce has become sort of the synonymous brand of burger sauce.
Yeah. Despite them tasting different.
Despite like Big Mac sauce and burger sauce like tasting slightly different.
I would say quite different, because I think, I don't like Big Mac sauce, but I love burger sauce. So
really?
Yeah.
See, I think I'm just like, either way, they kind of taste the same-ish to me. Like,
Not
I don't...
For me.
The Big Mac sauce is now commercially available to purchase in North America.
I was going to get onto this. The recipe for Big Mac sauce leaked last year, right?
Yeah.
Not the actual Big Mac sauce itself. That is contained in a bottle somewhere, but the recipe leaked out online. I don't know if McDonald's ever actually confirmed whether it was accurate or not, but a lot of places published what they thought was the leaked ingredients.
Well, the ingredients are listed on the back of the bottle.
But there's always things like that, but they don't actually list everything. They'll just say like spices or whatever at the bottom, which
and
is
they also
the
don't list the
crucial bit,
ratio.
right? Yeah, exactly. The one that leaked had 33 ingredients, which is quite a long way from the 2 ingredients, well, plus a few others that were in the original burger sauce. So you can see that McDonald's probably saw that and were like, we need to sort of synthesize our own version of this, but it needs to be it was probably very specifically designed to work with the Big Mac.
Well, I also think it's probably very specifically designed to be like long life product that can like be used,
because the recipe has changed over the years. But I think they've gone back to an original, but they changed it and then went back to the current one, which was the original one in the early 2000s.
Because I'm holding a bottle of burger sauce in my hand, conveniently purchased in Canada.
Big Mac sauce.
Or sorry, Big Mac sauce.
Yeah.
And on the back of the bottle, it easily has like 30 ingredients in it. But a lot of them are like the lovely unpronounceable ingredients and fructosey things.
Yeah.
So like I would need to have a degree in chemistry
to know how to actually make that.
Yeah, to even be able to translate what is on the back of this bottle. But I can tell you it does contain eggs, mustard, soy, and wheat. Those are your allergens. So not a gluten-free product.
No. After the ingredients leaked out, there was a blogger called Kelly Brinker, and she sort of worked out her own version that you would get something that's essentially as close enough to that as you can get by just making it at home yourself, which really cuts it down to just half a cup of mayonnaise, 4 teaspoons of sweet pickle relish, 1 teaspoon of white vinegar, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, which is not very much at all, is it?
No.
2 tablespoons of French dressing, 1 tablespoon of finely minced white onion, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. And you just leave it in a bowl. You stir it every now and then overnight, and then the next day you've got sort of a homemade version of Big Mac sauce. But I mean, the fact that you've even got that stuff a few years ago would have been a really big deal.
Yes.
Because, I mean, when did you get that?
So I went to Canada in September.
Yeah.
And we went into, well, I wanted to show my British boyfriend what Costco was because the economy of scale in Canada is outrageous. And there are some hilarious pictures of him holding those water cooler sized bottle, but of sparkling water, and me with cans of ketchup, which are industrial size, and mayonnaise and mustard,
tins of cranberry sauce that have got log form and ridges and weird stuff like that.
Of course, because you would need it in an industrial sized tin. And they had a 3-pack of sauces, and it was Big Mac, McChicken Cool Mayo, and filet of fish sauce. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I should buy this. And then my mom was really just mystified with me. Not only because she didn't understand.
You can't get it.
But and she was just also kind of why would you buy that 3-pack when you can buy the individual bottles at Safeway? And I was like, wait a second, you could do what? And I don't know how many people buy them. It looked like it says Nouveau on the front of it. So I'm assuming it's a new
French Canadians.
But I don't know how many people are buying it. And I'll also point out on the bottle, it is quick to point out that it is a sandwich sauce, Big Mac sandwich sauce.
I would like to point out that also you haven't opened it.
No, I haven't, because I was saving it for the special occasion.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought I would share this. Well, I thought I would share it with you.
Yeah, I mean,
also,
I just explained that.
Let's get over the let's get into the reality of life. I do not make burgers at home. If I'm having a burger, I'm eating a burger out because I am lazy. I'm not making patties and making a burger at home.
You don't need to do that. You can just buy burgers.
It's just a lot of work.
Let's go back though to, I mean, not that long ago, if you'd had that in this country, that would have been worth a lot of money.
Should I eBay it?
Well, you can't buy it here as far as I'm aware. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it here.
And so it's a fairly recent thing that you've been able to even buy it in North America. So in January last year, there was a promotion where they gave 10,000 bottles away. I think it would have been the first time they'd ever done this. And obviously, when you do things like that, there were certain people that will get them and then put them on eBay because they're like, well, it's limited quantities. I can probably get away with getting some money for this. And some of them went for but people were trying to sell them for $10,000. I'm not sure that many actually did go for that, but they were going for the hundreds. Specific to the UK, because obviously we've got probably two audiences that listen to this podcast, hopefully.
Let's make it 3.
What's the third one?
I don't know, tell your American friends.
Okay. The when McDonald's first sold a bottle of Big Mac sauce in this country, they were doing it for charity, and it was part of a promotion because they'd launched something called a Bacon Clubhouse burger, which was the first non-Big Mac burger that McDonald's did to use Big Mac sauce.
Oh.
Since I think the original Big Mac. It was in 41 years, so that must be...
That's huge.
Yeah. They got £69,500 for one bottle of Big Mac sauce. And the fact that you can't buy it here makes me think that you might be able to get... I'm not saying you're going to get 70 grand for it, but it might be worth having a little look.
And here I was thinking in my head, oh, if there's like a really enthusiastic listener who would like my unopened bottle of...
Would you give it as a prize or something?
Yeah, like I'll give it... if you live in the UK, I'll cover the postage and I'll send it to you as a gift. But I'm not a chump.
Not now that you know that it might be some money.
This might be liquid skin color gold.
The only problem is apparently you can buy it in Australia already, and there are places that will ship it. I mean, with Amazon and places like that, you can pretty much get, and eBay.
I mean, who wants to buy a sauce from Amazon when you could buy it from a stranger with 12 reviews on her eBay account that are all positive?
But that's what I think. Like, for a lot of people, I think burger sauce. Let's call them uneducated. They will think that that's what you mean, a Big Mac sauce by burger sauce. But they are very different things. And I think Big Mac sauce is essentially the man's version of burger sauce, and the one that I hold dear to my heart is the almost unbranded, get it from kebab shops. I haven't tried the Heinz do one that I think I might, but the problem is, like you, burgers aren't something that you eat at home very often, but maybe it is worth it. Maybe that would encourage me to eat more burgers at home if I had my own little tube of burger sauce.
I feel like you should be able to maybe get like a sachet of a variety of sauce. Like you could make your own sachet party, and you can make burger sauce sachets of Heinz, and then you could just test it out.
Like a variety pack.
Yeah. And
Kellogg's variety packs of cereal, you should be able to get lots of
condiment
little varieties
sachets.
of condiments.
Yeah, and then you could try it out next time you're at a football game and you get a burger.
I'll take it with me.
Yeah, and then that way...
That's a brilliant idea.
That way when you're at the match, you can then...
Do you know what? I nearly did that once with... At Brighton and Hove Albion, they, briefly a few seasons ago, used to do pulled pork baps, and I nearly took a little portion of slaw with me to put in because it wasn't included. And I was like, do you know what would really make this? A bit of slaw. I was going to take some with me, I never did. And now they don't sell them anymore. Great story. Do you think burger sauce deserves a spot on the condiment island?
No.
No,
do you? It's not in my top 5.
It would go ahead of guacamole for me without a second's thought.
Really?
Yeah. Even though I would quite happily eat burgers with ketchup and mustard, that wouldn't be a problem for me. I would like that variation there, so I could maybe keep ketchup and mustard for sausages.
See...
Or hot dogs, I should specify.
I feel like if we still had mayonnaise on the island, you could make the argument the same that you made with the vinegar distillery, that you could refine it and make your own condiment.
I don't know. There might be too many other things in burger sauce.
I just don't think if I'm being super honest about a top 5 condiments of all time, which is the premise of this weird challenge we set for ourselves, I don't think burger sauce.
Is it because it's got the word burger in it and you think it's limited?
What else would you put it with?
Besides fries, as fry sauce illustrates.
I feel like guacamole versus burger sauce. Guacamole has more abilities to use on various foods.
I don't want guacamole on anything. It only went there in the first place because there was space. So, what happens when this happens?
I like how when I was arguing for guacamole to be on the island, I was making a really informed case for it. And
I just like burger sauce.
You've just gone, you're stupid. Put burger sauce on the island. Bang it on the island.
I don't think I ever used the word stupid, actually.
I felt the tone was implied.
What happens when we have a stalemate like this?
I think...
Do we because we can't just record forever until we come up with a solution.
I think I know... deep down that on my personal island guacamole is there. I'm willing to relent burger sauce to you because
I think
I don't think it's going to be on there for very long.
Okay, fair enough.
I know what the next episode is.
I think the listenership will be on my side, and they are more powerful than you will ever be.
What?
So...
Oh, I'm sorry. Tom Wiggins, man of the people, really throwing it around.
Now I found out what they feel about guacamole, I'm on their side.
What are you talking about? I think that, like, if you were to look at the listenership, all of the North Americans will agree with me that guacamole is a sound condiment.
Yeah, but,
all the British folks agree with you that, like, guacamole, it's not a condiment.
Yeah, you remembered my Twitter poll. That's nice of you.
Well, you didn't remember my Facebook poll.
I just think...
you can tell that we've divided up the division of labor at our social media channels.
What you'll find on the Twitter poll was that 36% of people said of course dough, and 64% said guacamole.
I am willing to relent.
Okay, good.
You may have burger sauce on the island, but I would like it noted in the next episode, the gloves are coming off, and you are in
fair enough.
for a fight.
Well,
I am playing this strategically. This is chess. I am 7 moves ahead of you.
I might be on your side for the next one, so that would all be a waste of time, wouldn't it?
I really wish you were like tearing down my psychological psych-up of arguing.
It just doesn't work on me, you know? I've been trained. Right, that's all we've got time for this week before we get into an actual fight. Is this not an actual fight yet?
No.
Or did you say it is a
we're
fight?
We're just buds.
Okay, fine. All right,
we're buds with strong opinions about condiments.
Do follow us on Twitter at Desert Island Dip, singular. We're also on Facebook. You'll now know who you will be speaking to if you use either of those those social media channels, as they're called. That's Desert Island Dips. We have an email address, desertislanddips@gmail.com.
Yes.
Any questions, requests?
Comments, feelings of injustice.
And if you
want... not ones... like, not super long. Like, be real. I'm not reading a term paper.
And if you do want this bottle of Big Mac sauce, it sounds like that you are open to bids now. It was going to be a competition, but now it's probably monetary.
Should we have what should the competition be?
No, I thought you wanted to make money off it now.
Oh, I don't care.
See what happens. See what contact you get from the listeners about it. Bear in mind, it's not available in the UK, so it's quite a unique opportunity to... you can't be quite unique. It's either unique or it's not. It's a unique opportunity to get hold of a bottle of Big Mac sauce without shopping on the internet.
Just do a post on either one of the social media channels. Do you
know what we need to do?
What you're willing to do.
I've just realised this is stupid. We don't. It's because this is why we don't. This is because we don't have a social media intern or something. What we would do is we would run a competition where they have to like and retweet stuff that spreads the name of Desert Island Dips, and the winner gets the bottle of Big Mac sauce. We will tweet that when this episode goes out. People that retweet that, we will give the bottle of Big Mac sauce, which it's got a long time before it goes out of date, right?
It is 355 milliliters. It expires.
Is this the terms and conditions?
Oh.
Oh, what?
I think it expired January 5th, 2018.
What a prize! Let's have a look. Yeah, January the 5th, 2018 at 20 to 10 in the morning.
A fresh bottle of expired...
Once expired Big Mac sauce. You bought this in September.
It's up for grabs.
And it's already gone. Mate.
Should I write a letter to the McDonald's corporate?
Yeah. Has it still got the seal on the bottle? Yeah, so I can't even sniff it. It's still got the seal on the bottle, it'll be fine. Right.
Listen, if you just want a lightly expired bottle.
Lightly expired.
The competition stands.
It will be up and running on the Twitter when this episode goes out, so you'll probably see that before you hear this. By which point you will have entered and you won't know it's out of date, so joke's on you. Anyway, as I said, that's all the time we've got. We'll see you next time when Emily is convinced that I will be on her side, but yes. I'm not so sure. We'll see. Goodbye.